Welcome back to the channel, guys, and absolutely those beautiful lovely lady subscribers. I'm sideways today. Welcome back. You know who I am. You know where we are. We're gonna do a little Axel tubing today. So what are we gonna do here? We got this beautiful premium pickup truck that Texas driving. And I took the wheels from before. I robbed the wheels, so I'm putting new ones on. You can see right there. But this didn't need an axle job. I just glued them in with a little super glue onto the base. But now the fronts were too short, so I gotta tube them. So what I'm gonna do is, you see the groove right there in the truck right there. It's made for like the axles, the original axles from Mattel, like these axles, the groove. So when I tube them, I gotta make them a little bigger. So what I do is I take my trusty drill and I put this bit on, the one I drive my drill my holes for my screws, a number 50 bit at Ace Hardware. Millimeters, I think it's 1.75, something like that. I don't know, I just go by the number 50 bit in the size, and I just take the drill. And I run it across there and make sure it's even. And that gives me my groove for the tube, which is a 5100 Axel tube from K&S from Hobby Lobby. And it will slide right in there, as you can see. It sits in there nice, made like that. So what I'll do is I'll measure it. I'll get a marker. I'll measure it up in there. And I'll mark it with the marker. And I'll have my mark on it. Then I'll get my razor knife. And I'll cut it to size. Put that over there. And I'll have something like this. So what I'll do now, I'll have the little holes in there. They're really small from cutting it. You can't really fit the axle in. So what I'll do is, I got my dental pick, which I need a new one because they're all bent out of shape. But, and I'll stick it in the hole, and I'll ream it out. And I'll go to the other side and do the same thing. And ream it out. Then I'll get this gadget that I made up. I put an axle rod from Hobby Lobby and a paintbrush. I drilled a hole in it, stuck the axle rod in it. That helps me ream out my hole. That's the same size as a Hot Wheel axle, the one I just showed you. That's what I use if I want to make axles with the bead, like Derek does. But usually I'll cut that in half. And I'll show you in a second. But I ream out my tube. Ream out my tube. It goes all the way through. Go to the other side, do the same thing, just to get the burrs off. That'll give me that one. So then I will take I'll take old axles. I got a bunch of old wheels over here in a container. And I'll take the old plastic ones. I save them because I use the axles, so I don't have to use the beads. I'll show you why. You know, hold it in my hand, cut it with my snips. Okay, now I'll throw those away later. I'll say some of them, but I'll end up with a little piece like this. Okay? And what I'll do is get the tire, and that becomes my axle. See? So I'll get this, and I'll test fit it before I glue it. Okay? And I'll do the other side. Okay? Fits in there nice, it rolls. So I'll do that to the bow tires, get the other one from the other side. I know a lot of people don't like to do it like this because they say the wheels stick, but you got to make sure. There's a few ways you can do this. And then the adjustment between the center. If the axle's too long, I just trim it back where I can fit both, have enough beef on the axle to hold it, and have enough that it fits in there. So I'm going to have to cut this one a little bit. Cut it down halfway, measure it, I pull it out. And I measure up against the axle, see, halfway. And I do the same thing to the other one. I cut a little bit off of this one. I don't have enough. I don't have enough bite to catch. So, but what I was trying to say, you can do this a couple of ways. You can do this that way. And what I do is, I'll take the glue. You gotta be careful when you do it this way because you get glue on the axle, you can bind the wheel up, and then you're gonna have to work the wheel free. I like doing this because I don't like to do it the other way, like make the groove in the tube with the razor knife. It's, you know, and then you glue the groove to catch the axle. And then I'll show you in a minute. Then I'll take my old one. I don't use this for the. I just use this to free up my glue if it gets bound up. So what I'll do is just put a little bit of glue. And I'll clean on the axle, and I'll clean it. Because I'm not going to be rolling these around. They're going to stay in the case, but people like the tires to roll, so I do too. So, and then I'll feed one side. And then I'll get my nail punch. And I'll push the axle in all the way. Then I'll give it a little loosey. Put just enough glue on it, and then you won't have a problem. It won't stick. Eh? And then slide one side on. I'm just showing you like this way, so I'll show you. Usually I'll glue the axle in place first. Before it, usually I glue the axle in place so I don't have trouble with the wheel popping out. But I'll put the other one in temporarily so I can get that axle down. I won't glue this in yet until I do the other side. Yeah, still, see, I gotta cut it. That's why I didn't glue it. So I gotta see how much is sticking out. So I gotta cut a little more off this one. I don't want to cut too much, just a little bit. Just so we'll still have enough bite. See, and then it'll go to perfect. And then it fits down into the axle. Perfect. Then I'll glue the axle down. And then a lot of people do it before they put it in here. They'll get the razor knife and they'll cut a groove on each side. set the axle and glue inside the cracks so the axle don't pull out, and then glue that down. I like it doing this way. Everybody, this ain't the right way, it ain't the wrong way. It's what I like, you know. And then sometimes when you use a tube, you get these, and these either have to be cut, trimmed, or drilled with the drill so it fits over the axle so you can close the base in the body. So I think on that, it's big enough already. So what I'll do is just get my nail punch, I'll set my axle. See if my axle's down all the way. Then I'll set my body down just to see if it will be alright. You see it's going to be trimmed a little more. Nope, that fits good. Nope. Yep. It'll have to be cut. I'm going to open that up a little bit more. Oop, dropping tires, dropping everything. So that's going to have to be opened up so it fits down on the axle. Let me get my tire that fell with the wheel. So that's what we got there. Working on a couple of customs right now. I got this thing going right here. That one's done. I just got to do the transport. This is a Mustang. I'll be sending these to their new home soon. I got that one. I got this one. Pixie dust over that color, like almost like a root beer color with the pixie dust. There's the body for that one, and there's the base. Here's the base for that one. And this one didn't need nothing. Straight across, axles fit good. There's the base. So we got that. Then I got this one. This is the Henry J. Little pixie dust over stiletto red. And there's the pixie dust. You can see the sparkles in it. Over stiletto red. There's the pixie dust right there. You can see it. See, sometimes a little purplish in there. Over stiletto red. So those are drying. Then here's a truck I did. This is the hauler for the Mustang. Here's the hauler for the Mustang. And get it all rusted out. I didn't want to go too crazy and get the red in there with them, you know, make it real rusty. I just get it down the metal, and that's that. And then I got this going on. And this is the gas monkey. The gas monkey called out with the big motor on it. I really got wheels for it. Brad, send me some wheels, yeah? There's the motor. Big motor. Yes, Hewitt. I made the hole to fit it down inside. So there's that one. Let's go ahead. Then I'm working on the Skyline, the R32. I opened up I cut out the hood. And then I'll fit a motor in there like this with the front piece. fit a motor in there. Looks something like this. And then I'll detail that. I'll detail that out. That's that one. And then I did this one right here. I'm just gonna put wheels on it. BC Lions. I made Neil a couple of customs. Neil Cummings. That's the BC Lions up in Canada with my logo on the front. Uncle Paulie, Die-Cast Graveyard, made me the decals. Thank you, Uncle Paulie. Gonna order some more stuff off him later. And then I got this. I got a couple of fire trucks going to Mike Esposito. This is for Mike's Graveyard. I gotta find the spoiler. I lost the spoiler somewhere. Gotta put the spoiler back on there. I got that. I got a couple of boxes. Got Ed Mooseman, I got your box. I mailed out Eddie G's box today. Mooseman, I gotta do yours soon. He's been waiting a long time. I got Nails, Cardio Crafts. I got a couple other boxes too. Santa Slow Dogs, Mustang Honda, Steve Young, Sparks, Uncle Paulie's at Die-Cast Graveyard. I got other stuff going out. You're on the list. Checking it twice. Make sure if you're naughty or nice. So, yeah, I got Paul from Fat Guy Productions. I'm going to make him a couple of customs. Paul, in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Let me know what Reggie, your wife, wants for a custom. I'm going to make Reggie a custom. Let me know. Put it in the comments down below if you're watching. So, let me lift the camera. So that was just a quick wheel swap, showing you what I got there, and take a little bit. Take a look at the shop from People's Customs. All the way over there. Quick view down. That's all. Not too many. That's, not too many cars I got. That's what I got over here. Yeah. Get my thing over here. I got some cases over here. I got some stuff over here. I got a bunch of stuff here. Don't have much in my collection. I got boxes and stuff. Boxes in there. Cars I use for customs. And cars I give to children over there. Steve Young, very generous, always sends me cars for the kids. Every Halloween I give out between 150 200 cars for the kids on Halloween and Easter and Christmas Eve. And, their birthdays, the kids come around, get Hot Wheels. So it's always good to have a good selection of girls and kids cars in the garage. And I have them on hand, and I'll go pick some up. And sometimes the scalpers, they take all these cars, even the kid cars, they don't leave nothing. Even like the girls, even the girls, like to get girl cars for the girls when they come over. The scalpers, they're even taking the kitty cars. They're taking, leave scalpers out there. Leave the cars for the girls, man. Drives me crazy. All right, that's what we got today. A little education on axle tubing from Simple Customs here in beautiful Simpsonville, South Carolina. Next, once the weather gets a little better, I'll start airbrushing and getting the boot ready, and we'll be doing some quick shots on airbrushing and making a few customs for the audience. And maybe we'll do a few restorations. I see Paul from Fat Guy Productions doing a couple of beautiful restorations. I see Old Man Diecast doing some great work. And a lot of guys out there doing some restorations on some of these cars. That's what it's all about. Thanks for watching. Come back for another video. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.